Hey guys, it's Lucian, and today is the start of my King of Scars reread and Rule of Wolves first read reading vlog thing. So if you don't really know what this is, I will have in the description box links to my Shadow and Bone trilogy reread and my Six of Crows duology reread, where you can kind of get more information, but basically the Cliff Notes version is I'm rereading all the books in the Grishaverse to prepare for Rule of Wolves, which comes out tomorrow. I'm filming this on the 29th, so Rule of Wolves comes out on the 30th tomorrow. I'm not emotionally ready, but I am going to start rereading King of Scars today, and I'm going to finish it by the end of the month. I have 3 days, including today, so I'm going to finish it, and then my first book of April will be Rule of Wolves. Which I have pre-ordered, so it's coming to my house tomorrow, and I'm really, really excited. If I sound really stuffed up, I'm sorry, I just sneezed like 12 times, but I feel like I'm kind of catching a cold. But, and I always get one this time of year, but that's too much information. So I'm going to be rereading King of Scars, which I feel like I've already said 3 million times. But I really like King of Scars. It's like I think I gave it like a 3.5 when I first read it, but I just think that I was expecting a little bit too much from it, so maybe I'll end up enjoying it more this time, or maybe I'll enjoy it the same. I really doubt I'm going to enjoy it any less. I just really doubt that that's going to happen, especially since I feel like I kind of remember my feelings of this book a lot more vividly, and I feel like it is just generally like a better book than I kind of like initially thought it was, if that makes any sense. But it is currently 9:36, and I'm going to start reading, and I'm going to push to try to finish it tomorrow, but if I don't, then I still have an extra day for the month, because I do want to, like, I know I'm going to want to read Rule of Wolves as soon as it gets to my house, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to read King of Scars today and tomorrow, like finish it tomorrow. There are two, like there's part 1 and part 2 of the book, so maybe I could read part 1 today and read part 2 tomorrow. I'm in a pretty big reading mood, so maybe I'll be able to finish it tomorrow. I don't really know. Also, if you watched my video, my Six of Crows duology reread, you would know that this week is actually my spring break, so it is Monday today, and I have no school for this entire week, and then I don't have school next Monday either, so I have just this entire week to basically read, and I'm very excited, because I don't really have too much work to do over the break. I literally only have 2 things, so I will basically be able to spend my entire week reading, and it sounds really fun, so yeah, I'm really excited that I don't have to deal with school, because it's always difficult trying to like fit reading into the school week, but this week I don't have to worry about that, so I'm very excited, and I'm just gonna basically read all day. So hopefully I can read part 1 of King of Scars today. But I will let you know once I've read some of the book. But this is going to be kind of in the same vein as my Shadow and Bone trilogy reread and my Six of Crows duology reread. I'm not going to be recapping every single thing that happens in the book, because I mean, you guys, like, know, obviously, so you kind of just want to, like, get my feelings, so I'm not going to be doing that. This video is going to have spoilers, by the way. I didn't mention that. But this is going to have spoilers for all of the Grishaverse up until this point, so I'll be spoiling the Shadow and Bone trilogy, and Six of Crows duology, and King of Scars as I'm reading it. But I'm really, really excited to start reading the book and see how I feel the second time around, and I really hope I enjoy it a little bit more. So, I will check back in once I've read some of the book and can update you on my feelings. So it is a few hours later, I think it's around 3 o'clock, and I thought I would update because I am now about 200 pages into King of Scars by Lee Bardugo, and I'm enjoying it so far. Not a ton has happened plot-wise, but we have been able to spend some time with the characters, and usually I don't mind if not a ton happens in the plot if I like the characters, and I do in this instance. I like Nikolai, I like Soya, I like Nina, so it's different than in like the Grisha trilogy, where like, nothing was happening, and I felt super lukewarm about the characters anyway. So this is a bit different, because I, you know, like spending time with the characters, and I don't really mind if they're not doing, like, these big monumental things. But, I really like the way that Lee Bardugo wrote the first chapter of this book with Dima, and how he saw Nikolai, because I feel like it was a way to show the problem of the story from a different perspective, and an innocent perspective, because Dima is a child, and we kind of got to see the severity of this issue, because Nikolai was almost killed, an innocent child, and, you know, a dog. So, like, it's very, like, I feel like it just adds something to the story, and a lot of the times, Lee Bardugo's first chapters, like, especially with Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, they were kind of just, like, okay. Like, the whole thing with Juiced, and then the whole thing with Red Banco, they were kind of just, like, okay, but I feel like this was a good... She utilized her prologue well. So, I think that that was definitely an interesting choice. And, I mean, Nina's chapters are really hard to read because of Matthias. He keeps getting brought up, and she keeps thinking about him, and, her eulogy was a really, like, tender moment, and it was, like, very sad because, I mean, we get to, like, see everything, like, in her head, and, just have her thinking about it, and she has, like, these imaginary conversations with him, and then the whole thing with the wolves was very touching, and, I kind of forgot some of the things that happened in her POV, because I think I was more interested the first time I read it in Nikolai and in Zoya, but I feel like I'm judging all three of them kind of on the same playing field. Also, I forgot that we meet Isaac in this book before his POV comes up in the story. I forgot that he's, like, a, you know, kind of, like, tertiary character, up until the point that we start getting his own POV. So, that is interesting. And, oh my god, Yuri makes me want to rip out my hair. I hate him so much. And I forgot that he turns out to be the Darkling in this book. So, that, I was like, why is this character annoying me so much? And then he kept going on and on about the Darkling, and I was like, oh right, this is literally the Darkling. So, yeah, Yuri is very irritating, and I hate him with every fiber of my being. So it's really not fun having him along for the journey because he is just so irritating, and I hate it. And the whole cult of the Starless Saint, tell me why, I don't get it. But overall, so far, I'm enjoying it. I have like 50 pages until I finish part 1, so I'm gonna go read those right now, and then I'll update you once I have completed part 1. I don't think I'm gonna have much to add after this, unless there's something that I forgot to say here, and I'll just add it in later. But it looks like I will be able to finish this by tomorrow, so that is fun. But yeah, I'm gonna go because I feel like I have been rambling and there's not like much to say just because like not a ton has happened. So I'm gonna go and I will see you when I have finished part 1. Hello. So it is the next day. It is Tuesday and it is the morning if you can't tell by my appearance. But I wanted to update you on what I read before I leave today, because I am going somewhere today. I know, it's a very uncommon occurrence, but my mom and I are going to, just, like, go to a nearby town to, eat lunch, and then go to a bookstore, and no, I'm not going to bring the camera around, because, 1, it's super heavy, 2, I am very nervous vlogging in public, so I'm not going to be doing that. Maybe I'll take a picture here and there, and then I'll insert it in here, or post it on Instagram. I don't know. But it's not going to be exciting. It's just like a regular town with a bookstore and a lunch place. But that's not what I came here to say. I came here in my raggedy appearance to talk about what I read yesterday. So I finished part 1, so I am on page like 255 or something like that. So I read about 60 pages, and, really enjoying it. Again, not much has happened. Like, we met Hane, or Hannah, or whatever her name is, in Nina's POV, and then, Yuri was being just as annoying as ever, and then we went with Zoya and Nikolai, and I think Tamar and Toya were there as well, and maybe Genya was there too. I don't know. A bunch of people were there. Yuri was there, and they went to like where they went to Krybiersk, which is like the town that like was once split in half by the fold. And so there's like basically a lake where the shadow fold used to be or something. And then they see something, and then Zoya gets really mad, and then she brings all this like the sand up with her like squalor powers. And then she, like, finally brings it down because Nikolai is like, girl, what are you doing? And then it comes down, and then they're, like, alone. And there's, like, it's just Nikolai, Zoya, and Yuri, and they are alone in this parallel dimension with this friggin' palace before them. And that's where we're left off. And this is where the book really started getting good for me the first time that I read it, because I am a sucker for portals and alternate dimensions. That is like my kryptonite. Like, if I find out that a book has portals or an alternate dimension, I am jumping on that train as soon as it passes by, because I love that. That's like one of my favorite tropes of all time. I just think it is so interesting. There's so much you can do with it, and I just get giddy whenever I learn that that is a thing. I'm gonna go and try to not look like this. And I probably will try to read a little bit on the car ride, and then, like on my phone. And then I'll be back by like 3 or 4. Probably 3. So I'll just read for the rest of the day. And hopefully I will be able to finish King of Scars today. And then maybe I'll jump into Rule of Wolves by the end of the day, because it is coming today. But I'll probably end up starting it tomorrow. But yeah, I just wanted to update, tell you what I read yesterday, and what I'm doing for the rest of the day. Hello. So I've been home for about an hour and a half, and I did read. When I got home, I did, Rule of Wolves was waiting for me, and so I opened it the second I saw the package, and I got so excited. I did actually flip through it at like one of the bookstores we went to, just to like, you know, see how long it is and stuff, but I'm not gonna talk about that until tomorrow when I start it, unless I start it like later today, but I really doubt that's gonna happen. But what I am here to talk about is my progress on King of Scars. So I'm now on page like 400. I only read 2 chapters on my phone just because I don't really like reading on my phone, and also I was trying to spend time with my mom, who I like went to that town with. So I wasn't like, you know, looking at my phone the whole time. But I read chapters 15 and 16, which were the first 2 chapters of part 2, and then I just read like almost, like probably around like 130 pages. I read it so fast, like I was kind of like flying through it, because I remember like this is when the book really started picking up for me the first time that I read it, after part 2. So I was just flying through those chapters, and my goal was to reach page 400, and when I reached it, I was like, I feel like I've only been reading for like 45 minutes or an hour. So that was cool. But yeah, I do have like about 100 pages left, and I'm going to read it like really, really soon. But I just want to take a little bit of a break and, you know, talk about my feelings so far. I think my least favorite perspective in this book so far is Nina's. I just feel like we really don't do much in her chapters. We're kind of just chilling, and I feel like her chapters just like drag the most, and I feel like I'm way less engaged when we reach her chapters. And I feel like I just want them to be over. So that's a little bit disappointing, because I really liked her in the Six of Crows duology. She wasn't like one of my favorites, but I did like her. And it's a little bit upsetting that she's not like really that interesting to me in this book, but I think it's just because, again, she's not doing like a whole lot, and it's not, I don't know, I just feel like she's just the least interesting to me, personally. But I know a lot of people actually criticized her character and said that she, like, they didn't really like how she kind of had like a character snap. But I don't really mind that. Like, I don't mind her character in this book. I just don't really care about what she's doing, if that makes any sense. But I don't really have a problem with her character journey in this book, because grief changes people like a lot, and it's a recent grief, or like a recent loss, and she's also young, she's like still a teenager, and she had a really big loss in her life. So I kind of understand where she's coming from, because grief does change people a lot of the time. Not like your whole personality, but it can kind of like, you know, change your perspective on life and stuff. So I kind of understand why she's like this in this book. But again, she's just the least interesting to me. I really like Isaac's POV, which I liked in the first time that I read it, but I kind of feel like I have a newfound appreciation for it, because I realized Isaac would literally be me in this situation. You know, like, he just, like, falls into this situation, and then he dies by the end of the book. If I lived in the Grishaverse, I would die, like, 3 seconds in. So, the fact that he even lasted as long as he did is shocking. But, I mean, he's not dead yet, but he dies, like, later. But, I feel like Isaac is the most, like, realistic character. And something that I also realized is the reason why I like this book, and, like, Lee Bardugo's books in general, is that her characters feel like real people. I don't feel like I'm reading fake people. I feel like I'm reading about real people. So that's, like, one of my favorite things about her books. So I really like that, and I feel like Isaac is just the most realistic because he doesn't have any powers. He's the most relatable. He doesn't have any powers. He is just a normal person who's kind of thrust into this situation, and I feel like he acts, and the way his story goes is how a lot of us would go in this situation if we were in a fantasy book. So I really like his POV because it's very different from other fantasy POV. Like, I just feel like he's a very grounded character, and I really like following him. Sorry, my memory card died, and I just put the book down. But, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I really like the trials section of this book. I just think it's interesting, and I like the alternate dimension. Yuri is still bugging the you-know-what out of me. He's so irritating, and I just want to punch him in the face. And, like, I like Zoya and Nikolai, and, you know, Lisbetta, Grigory, Juris. I feel like they're all pretty interesting. And, yeah, I liked the flashback that we got from Zoya. And I just feel like this book is very, like, it's, like, comforting to read because there's not a bunch of crazy crap happening every single chapter. It feels like a human story in a way because it's just very slow and natural, and it just feels like, I don't know. There's just something about it that I like, and it feels like a very soothing read. I don't know. It's just, I feel like I can just shut my brain off and just, you know, kind of, like, sink into the story. So I really like that. Maybe it's, like, just Lee Bardugo's writing, the way she kind of just, like, the way she writes, I feel like it's very easy to just, like, fall into. So I'm really enjoying that, and I have about 100 pages left, so I'm probably gonna read that within the next, like, I'm probably gonna start reading those last 100 pages within the next hour or so, and I will probably update, like, soon after, unless I just choose to update tomorrow, but once I have finished the book, I will update you, and then I'm going to move on to Rules, which I am so friggin' excited for. It's like nearly 600 pages, but we're not there yet. So I'm going to finish King of Scars, and I will let you know once I have done that. Hi, so it is some time. I think it's maybe around 6:30, close to 7. And I finished King of Scars. I'm going to give a full update in the morning because it's getting dark out and I know this clip is going to be like grainy and nasty when I edit it. So I didn't want to film like a whole like, you know, overall feelings right now when it's starting to like be sunset. So I'm just going to talk about my feelings first thing in the morning. But I want to let you know that I finished the book and I'm giving it 4 stars. I really, really enjoyed it. But again, I'm gonna see you in the next clip, which will be tomorrow morning, so that I can fully wrap up my feelings. Good morning. So, if you could not already tell, I just woke up like 10 minutes ago, and I'm going to update now because yesterday I said I would update the last 100-ish pages that I read of King of Scars because I finished it yesterday. So overall, I really, really enjoyed King of Scars. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I'm pleasantly surprised with how much I enjoyed it on reread. And I just feel like I have a greater appreciation for this story. Like, it might even be above, like, a 4. Like, it could be, like, a 4.25, somewhere around there. I just really liked it. I think My least favorite part of this book, I hate to say it, but I think it was Nina's POV. There was just something about it that, like, when I kept getting to that, she has the most chapters in this book. I counted. She has 13. I think Nikolai has 10. Zoya might have, like, I can't remember, but I know she has the most. I know Nina has the most chapters. And I feel like every time I got to one of hers, I was just like, ugh, like, I was just, there was something about it that started to, like, really, like, drag the pace, because she was really not doing, like, anything until the last, like, 150 pages of the book, so it just didn't, it wasn't compelling at all whenever I reached her chapters, because she would literally just be, like, sitting around. And it felt like she was a very passive character, and I don't really like reading about passive characters. And I understand where she's coming from, and I get that, like, grief is a thing, but it was almost, like, I don't know, it felt kind of like she, like Lee Bardugo, took parts of what happens to people in grief, or some people in grief, and she, like, left some others completely out, so it felt, like, half-baked. If that makes any sense. I liked reading about Nikolai and Zoya, like, I liked reading their POVs. I don't really think I have a preference. I kind of liked both of their POVs. And I know a lot of people said that they really didn't like how disjointed this book felt between, like, Nikolai and Zoya, and then Nina. And I understand that. I don't really care as much. But I kind of get, like, where you're coming from, but I don't really mind it that much. I don't know, I just feel like it's not something that really bothered me. But yeah, again, I liked Nikolai and I liked Zoya, I liked Isaac. Again, I talked about him in the last clip, and I'm really upset that he's dead. But, so also I kind of am confused. Was Mayu and Princess Aerie, were they, like, pretending to be each other? Like, was that what was going on? Because I looked up on, like, the fandom, like, the wiki page, and it said, like, when I went to Princess Aerie's page, it was, like, alias, Mayu, and then when I went to Mayu's page, it said that her alias was Princess Aerie. So were they pretending to be one another? Is that how that worked? Because that kind of confused me a little bit. But I'm sad that Isaac died, because he really didn't do anything. Like, he didn't do anything, he did nothing wrong, and he was kind of just, like, sweet, and then he, you know, it was just, like, over. I kind of wish we got Isaac's POV, like, throughout the book, like, instead of just starting in part 2, I kind of wish we had gotten it earlier on, because I feel like it could have added something, because we could have seen him, like, as a normal person, and then seen him as, like, he's trying to be this prince, or king, so I feel like it would have just added depth to his character and added, like, another layer of complexity to the book. I'm also very excited because in Rule of Wolves we get Mayu's POV, and we also get the monk, who is Yuri, who is actually the Darkling. And that is a whole other thing. The Darkling is back, and I am very conflicted. I kind of don't really know how I feel. I feel like I'll know how I feel once I read Rule of Wolves. But I hate the Darkling, and I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying that they're mad, but then I've seen a lot of other people say that they are happy, and apparently, like Dark Lena, which is, like, Darkling and Alina, shippers are super mad. So I think that's good for me, because I hate the Darkling and Alina. So anyway, this clip is, like, 3 million years long. But, Yuri, I hate him. I want him to just, like, die. He's so irritating. And also, I said earlier, I was like, although I get why he's irritating, because he is the Darkling, I was wrong. He doesn't actually become the Darkling until later, because, like, it was only until, like, you know, the tail end of this book when the Darkling's essence kind of, like, took over Yuri's body. But, like, for the whole book before then, he was just himself. That makes it even worse. Like, that makes it 100 times worse. I literally hate him so much. He's just, like, the stupid fanboy for the Darkling. I don't get it. He makes me just, like, want to... He makes me recoil. He boils my blood so much. I really just dislike him. Every time he was on the page, I was like, this friggin' stupid guy again. He did nothing. What did he do? What did he do? Like, he literally did nothing. He's the most useless character. I hated him. he's a well-written character. Like, it's not like I hated him, like, because he was badly written or anything. I just hate him so much as a person. And I feel like that shows that he's well-written, because I see him as a person, and I want to just, like... he makes me do that. Like, he makes me do this weird thing. Like, I just can't. He just... but I think those are all my thoughts on King of Scars. Again, really enjoyed it the second time around. And I'm very excited to read Dual Wolves later today. I really hope that, like, we get to see the dregs. Because I did see, I was, like, flipping through the book, and it was, like, said Kaz, or Kaz said, or something like that. So, Kaz is definitely in the book. Or that was a flashback. So, I mean, I just hope the dregs are in the book. And it would be cool to see Alina again, I guess. And I'm very excited for the new POVs. And, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go. Because I've been filming for 3,000 million years this friggin' clip. So, goodbye. Goodbye. So, it is about 3 o'clock, and I'm already on part 2 of Rule of Wolves. I'm about 250 pages into the book, and I'm really, really enjoying it so far. I am having a good old time. I just, like, I don't even know, like, where to start. So, I guess I can start with, like, the first chapter, which is, like, Queen Makai's point of view. I feel like it's really interesting that we're finally getting a perspective on the Shu, because I don't think we've been to Shuhan at all in any of these books, so finally getting some, like, perspective from them is really, really interesting, and I think the Queen is a super complex character, and I really liked following her for the prologue, and then we saw, like, kind of, like, the shadows coming towards it, so it was, like, the Shadowfold is, like, coming back, and that's kind of what's happening, the Shadowfold is coming back, and we had that whole scene where Zoya and Nikolai go to what was once, like, the zoo at the palace, and that's where they're keeping the Darkling, who is, like, in Yuri's body, and the Darkling is, like, telling them to go to these monks to, like, perform the... something like, it's like the Obs Nizbaya or something like that, and then they, like, alerted Alina, and then we saw Alina, like, Zoya went to see Alina and Mao, and Misha was there, and Oncat as well, and, like, I don't really care that much for Alina, but it was really cool to see her. I just feel like cameos in books are really, really fun a lot of the time, so it was really cool to see her and Mao and, you know, those people, and then the Darkling just had to mess with things. He, like, created a shadow and then he, like, disappeared. And then we had that whole scene where, like, Nikolai invites the Queen and they come to the wedding. I thought the wedding was going to be between Nikolai and Princess Aerie, which was what the Queen thought as well. But it was actually David and Jenya's wedding, and then the Queen, like, left and these bombs went off, and then we kind of ended part 1 where, like, we have no idea where David is, and that's, like, this whole thing. But I just am really, really enjoying it. I also really like, I mean, Nina's perspective is still the one that I'm least interested in, but I am liking what she's doing with, like, Rasmus and Queen Agath, I think is her name, or something like that. I'm still not the biggest fan of Hannah, or Hane, or whatever her name is. She could kind of, like, give or take. But, I'm liking all the POVs. I want some more from Zoya, because I feel like we've only gotten a few snippets from her, and I mean, we've had more than that, but, like, I want to be in her head a little bit more. We've had a lot of political maneuverings, which I like, but I kind of want more fantasy stuff, to come in, so hopefully that will, play a role in, like, the second half of this book. And I'm just really, really excited to continue on and see what's going on with the Darkling and everything. And I'm actually really liking this book a lot more. I thought going in that there would be way too much to do because of, like, all of the things that's happening. And I do also like that Nina's POV is kind of more intertwined with Nikolai and Zoya's the second time around. They're still not really, like, that intertwined, but they, you know, they, like, mention each other in their respective POV chapters. So I'm enjoying that, and I am just having a good old time, and it's just very stressful to read this book sometimes. I mean, not a ton has happened, but it's still just, like, it's really fun to read it, but it's also really stressful, because, like, I'm not reading this for the second time. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm very nervous, but, again, I feel like things are about to get real interesting. We're gonna have the introduction of Mayu's POV and the monk, who's the Darkling's POV, and I'm really excited about that. I'm just excited to see where everything is going to go plot-wise, because I feel like part 2 will be much more plot-driven than like politically driven, which was like kind of what was happening in part 1, and we were kind of just like establishing things. So I'm very, very intrigued as to what part 2 is going to entail, but I really do want to read more today. It's only like, as I said, I think it's only like 3 o'clock, so I definitely have time to read more today. So I don't know how far I'll get into the book today, but I definitely want to read more, and hopefully I can finish this tomorrow. I'm not gonna like pressure myself to finish it tomorrow, but I'm on track to finish it tomorrow. So yeah, I'm again really, really having a fun time. And when I read more, I mean, I'm probably not going to update more today, but if I read more today, then I will see you in the morning and kind of catch you up on what I may have read more of in Roll. Good morning. So it is the next day, obviously, because I said good morning. It is 9:15 and I ate breakfast and everything, and I just wanted to update on what I freaking read yesterday after I filmed that clip. Actually, before I do, I realized I forgot to mention something when I was talking about part 1. That whole freaking scene with Queen Makai, or like, it wasn't with her, but like, where it was like, they, like, Nikolai came back, and then there was the whole thing with the Tavgarad, and then they all, like, you know, lit themselves on fire, and the only one that survived was Princess Aerie, because, you know, Nikolai, like, kind of like helped her, and then they got healed, and then they figured out that it was based on Queen Makai's instruction, because she left them like this line from a poem, and like that whole thing, I can't believe I forgot to mention that, but that was like one of the most monumental things that I was like screaming about when I was reading it. But I think I was just like caught up on like the whole thing about like David being missing, because Queen Makai like left after the wedding, and then like those bombs started going off. And speaking of my boy David, he's dead. But like, I can't believe he's dead. He literally, because it was just like at the end of part 1, it was just like, oh yeah, he's missing, and then we got that whole chapter from Mayu, which I really, really enjoyed. I really liked that chapter from her POV. And then we went to Zoya's POV, and it was like, David was burning. And it was like, his corpse was just like, it was like, oh, what, he's dead? Like, I thought he was just missing, but no, he's dead. That literally, I did not expect that at all, and I don't think I really realized how much I cared about David until I found out that he was just, you know, like, freaking dead. I don't know, I'm just, like, stressed out. I don't get it. I mean, I know, I understand, but, like, I don't understand why, you know what I mean? Leave Verdugo better freaking talk, so, because I tell me why. And he had just gotten married, and seeing Genya, so, like, I actually did really love Genya, and seeing her so upset, and I actually did really like David. I just don't think I realized it until he was, you know, freaking burning. But that just sent me, like, threw me for a loop. And then we had that POV from the monk, who's actually the Darkling, who I just, like, want to die, and I really just don't understand how people can, like, love him. Like, actually, like, I could maybe understand if you, like him as a villain, but there are people that are, like, Darkling supremacy, and they're, like, wanting him to survive. Like, why? He's literally just a mass murderer with no personality. I don't get it. He, like, kills women and children, and then you're like, ooh, I love him, just, like, such a cute guy, oh my god, yes, I love him so much. Like, tell me why, I don't get it. And I'm not, like, shaming people for liking him. I'm just a little bit concerned. It's like liking freaking Victor Frankenstein. Like, I don't get it. Like, do you like Voldemort now? Like, if Voldemort was, like, this attractive guy in his 20s, or, like, looks like he was in his 20s, would y'all just, like, love him so much? Like, I don't get it. It just creeps me out that people love him so much. But, you know, you do you, whatever. But really, that sent me. Like, I did not expect that. So I'm, like, about 300 pages in right now, so I've, like, almost half the book left, which I don't know what's gonna happen. More people are definitely gonna die. We're only, okay, apologies. My memory card ran out, and there were no videos that I could delete off of my camera, so I had to import a bunch of footage onto my computer. so that I could delete those off of my actual memory card. So now we have more space, so I can vlog more. But I was talking about, like, how I don't know who else is going to die, because if we're only halfway through, and she killed, like, a main character, well, he's, like, a main side character, so, like, he's a secondary character, I guess you could say, who we've had since Shadow and Bone. If she kills him only halfway through, who the frick else is going to die in this book? Like, there has to be more people to die. I don't get it. But I just, like, David's death, I didn't expect it to, like, hit me so hard, because I just didn't expect it. But, like, I remember Lee Bardugo said, like, in the sequel to King of Scars, we would have a wedding and a funeral. I didn't know it would be for the same person. But, that really hit me. Genya was, like, still in her wedding gown. Like, I can't. Okay, I'm gonna get emotional, but, I can't talk about that. So, yeah, I don't know who else is gonna die. I really doubt she's gonna kill Nina, Zoya, or Nikolai. She's already done the main character thing, so I don't think she would do that again. But maybe Mayu could die. I don't know. Queen Makai, I want that lady to friggin' just die. She's so irritating, but I love her. Like, I love her character so much. But she's gotta die. And I mean, like, good characters, like, actual, not evil. Like, if the frickin' Darkling died, the Darkling better die in this book, or else I'm gonna throw fists. But, and then, anyway, but, like, who else could she kill? Alina? Mao? Friggin', I don't know who else. Genya? She better not kill Genya. Although, that would be kinda cool. I mean, like, because she would be with David again, but I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna go because I am getting too sad thinking about David's death, and I'm gonna go try to read, like, another 100 pages, and hopefully nobody else dies. But, you know, it's Lee Bardugo, so okay, I'm gonna go. Goodbye. Okay, so I've read a little bit more. I'm on page 408, and you're freaking telling me that Joran, or whatever the frick his name is the stupid frickin' kid, the Driscoll kid, who killed Matthias. I don't even know what to say. That was like, I got so shocked, and I don't even know how that's possible. I mean, I know how it's possible, but, like, I really didn't expect that. She's really coming through with the plot twists in this book. Like, I really didn't expect that. Oh, but the crows are here. I mean, Inej is not, but, like, we've seen Kaz and Jesper and Wylan, and, they're with Nikolai and Zoya. Oh my god, and Mayu, like, the whole thing with her and, like, Makai, and then whatever her name is, Lenyon or Lady, or whatever the grandmother's name is, Makai and Aries' grandmother, she's back, and she's about to take the crown, so Makai has been usurped. I mean, not really, because, like, her grandmother does have a right to the crown, but oh my god. I can't believe Joran, or whatever his name is, however it's pronounced, I can't believe he's the stupid freaking kid who killed Matthias. I can't. Okay. Well, okay, so I'm gonna take a break from reading, because I need to compose myself. And also, I need to eat. I'm freaking hungry. So, I'm gonna eat, and then I'm going to, like, read a little bit more. And I'm definitely finishing this book today. I just need to know how it ends, and figure out what the frick is gonna happen next, and figure out who else is gonna die, because love that. Also Hannah, or Hane, or whatever her name is, she is gone, so we love that. She's not dead, but she's just gonna marry Ramses, so that's good. But yeah, okay, I'm gonna go scream internally, so bye. Hello. It's around like 10:30, and I read, like, about 100 pages earlier, so I'm now on page, like, 500, so I'm gonna go finish the book right now. I'm not gonna talk about, like, the events of what I read. I'm just gonna talk about the last, like, what I read today once I finish the book, which I'm gonna go do right now. But I'm really, really loving the book. I feel like it might get 5 stars, and I think these last, like, 90 pages are going to wreck me, so yeah, I just wanted to get a small clip before I am destroyed, so bye! So, I just finished Rule of Wolves by Lee Bardugo, and I'm giving this book 5 stars. This just blew me out of the water. I loved it so much. I really cannot think of any complaints for it. I just absolutely loved it. Like, it's kind of hard to, like, go back and think about, like, what I read since last updating you, now that I've reached the end. So I think I'm just gonna go over, like, my final thoughts on the characters. So I guess I'll start with, like, Mayu, because she's a POV character, but she's, like, the least, integral to the story, in my opinion. So I did really like how she ended up. I think she was a cool character to follow, and I'm glad that she has her brother back now. And so now I feel like Nina is the next person that I should talk about. I really liked how her story ended. I got really scared there when Hannah died. I didn't really care too much for Hannah, but then when she died I was upset because, like, Nina had gone through so much with losing Matthias, and then having her lose Hannah just would have been this whole other thing. But it was actually, like, Hannah had tailored Prince Rasmus to look like her, and she tailored herself to look like Prince Rasmus, so Prince Rasmus is actually the one who died, and Nina figured it out, and so she and Hannah are happy, they're together, and, they're, like, Hannah will become the king of Fjerda, and Nina will be the queen as Mila, and so I really loved how that worked out. Nikolai's story, I really loved how it wrapped up. He's still gonna be the king of Ravka, because, you know, he's gonna be with Zoya, and I'm really happy that he and Zoya got their happy ending, and I feel like he just deserves it after everything he's been through. And then Zoya, I really loved how everything came together with her, like, dragon ability, and, she's the queen of Ravka now, and I just love that, and she really embraced her Sully background. And then the Darkling, I really liked what happened with him. I knew that he was going to die in this book, like, there was just no way that he wasn't going to die, but I thought it would just be, like, you know, they would, like, kill him. But I loved the way that his story ended with the Thornwood and all the monks and the tree, and I just absolutely loved that. I think that is genius. And then we had the end where, like, Alina and Genya and Zoya were talking, and how they were talking about how, like, he should be given some mercy, and he should be allowed to die, and the person that will replace him, so that the Shadow Hole doesn't, like, come back, will be, like, they'll use, like, the heart of St. Felix. And then they were talking, like, how do we get the heart of St. Felix? And then Zoya went to Nikolai, and she was like, I need you to be Sturmhond, and I need you to go to Ketterdam to go to the Crow Club and tell the crows that they have a mission awaiting them. So this definitely set up for 6 of Crows 3, and if Leigh Bardugo does not write 6 of Crows 3, I will be so upset. But, like, she's definitely going to write 6 of Crows 3 with the way that this ended. And I just absolutely loved this book. 5 out of 5 stars, definitely a favorite of the year. I am so pleased with how this went, because I went in with kind of, like, mediocre expectations. I was really excited, but I didn't really expect much from this book, but I'm so pleased with how this ended up. This was a perfect way to end the duology, and a perfect way to kind of, like, end what began in Shadow of Bone, while also setting up for more in the world, and for more of 6 of Crows, which I would just absolutely love, and I'm so excited to see what will come after this book, with 6 of Crows 3. But that is it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I would love to hear your thoughts on Rule of Wolves and King of Scars as well, and I hope you enjoyed this little series that I did. We might end up back here in a couple years when 6 of Crows 3 comes out, but for now, that is the end of this vlog. I had a really fun time rereading the Grishaverse books, and I'm so happy that this is where we've ended off on a high note. I absolutely love this book, and I hope you all did as well. But again, I would love to know your thoughts. All my social media links are in the description box below. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!